This video did not exist in your universe until you directed your attention toward it. That might sound like a riddle, but it is the literal truth of the reality you inhabit. You brought this message into your current timeline because a part of your mind is desperately trying to wake you up. Today, we are going to talk about the observer effect, the quantum field, and those strange, unexplained glitches you sometimes see in the air around you. By the end of this transmission, you will no longer see yourself as a passive participant in a random world. You will understand your true, undeniable power as the absolute creator of your physical experience. Tell me, have you ever stared into an empty space and felt, just for a second, that the air itself was rippling or shifting right before your eyes? To understand what is truly happening when you experience a glitch in reality, we must first look at the quantum field. In our esoteric understanding, the quantum field is not just a scientific concept of particles and empty space. It is the infinite ocean of pure potential, a canvas of endless probabilities where every possible past, present, and future exists simultaneously as an invisible wave of energy. Nothing in this field is solid until it is observed. Observation is not a passive act of simply looking at something that is already there. Observation is an aggressive, creative force. When your consciousness focuses on a specific frequency, it acts as a laser beam, forcing that invisible wave of infinite probability to freeze, condense, and materialize into the solid matter you call your life. Have you ever stared at an empty room and noticed a faint shimmering in the air, almost like heat waves rising from a summer road? Society trains you to blink it away. They tell you it is just a trick of the light, a sign of tired eyes, or a minor optical illusion. But what if I told you that this is the exact moment your consciousness is actively updating the holographic projection of your life? When you see this glitch, you are catching the quantum field in the middle of a massive transition. You are witnessing the raw, unformed wave of probability slowing down and condensing into solid matter. In quantum physics, they call this the collapse of the wave function. But in the realm of deep spiritual awakening, this is the visual evidence of your manifestation taking root. The air shimmers because the energetic frequency of your new thought is colliding with the dense vibration of your current environment. The old reality is dissolving, and the new reality is rendering in real time. It is a moment of profound power, yet most people look away in fear. They dismiss the magic because they are terrified of realizing how much control they actually have. But you are here because you are ready to stop looking away. You are ready to look directly into the shimmer and command your reality with absolute certainty. Consider the true nature of the physical world around you right now. You have been taught that the chair you sit on, the screen you watch, and the walls of your room are solid, permanent fixtures. But esoteric wisdom and quantum mechanics agree on one shocking truth. Everything is mostly empty space, vibrating at specific frequencies. Your brain is not a camera passively recording a solid world. Your brain is a highly advanced rendering engine, much like the processor in a complex video game. It receives formless energetic data from the quantum field and translates it into colors, shapes, and textures. When you begin to awaken spiritually and elevate your personal vibration, your rendering engine undergoes an upgrade. It starts processing data at a much higher speed. During this upgrade, the projection can momentarily stutter. You might see a flash of light out of nowhere, a shadow moving where nothing is casting it, or a pixelated distortion in the air. This is not a hallucination. It is a system update. Your consciousness is shedding an old, limiting timeline and downloading a new set of physical parameters. When you witness this, do not panic. Simply acknowledge that your reality is being upgraded to match your new state of mind. Now let us talk about how your thoughts act as the primary catalyst for this phenomenon. A thought is not just an abstract idea floating inside your skull. A thought is a measurable electrical impulse, a localized burst of energy that sends ripples throughout the entire quantum fabric. Every time you hold a clear, focused intention, you are sending a specific blueprint into the field of infinite possibilities. Most people have chaotic, uncontrolled thoughts, which results in a chaotic, unpredictable reality. Their quantum field is constantly rendering a messy mix of fears, doubts, and fleeting desires. But when you begin to discipline your mind, something incredible happens. Your thoughts become coherent. They become like a focused laser, rather than a scattered flashlight. When this intense, coherent beam of intention hits the quantum field, the field has no choice but to respond quickly. The faster the field responds, the more likely you are to see the visual distortions, the glitches, and the shimmering in the air. The physical world is literally struggling to keep up with the speed of your focused creation. This is the ultimate proof that your mind precedes matter. You are not living in the world is living inside of your consciousness. But thought alone is not enough to force a complete rendering of a new reality. There is a second, even more powerful component that you must master. It is your emotional state. While your thoughts provide the structural blueprint for what you want to create, your emotions provide the magnetic force that pulls that reality into physical density. Think of it this way. The thought is the steering wheel, but the emotion is the engine. When you combine a clear thought with an elevated emotion like gratitude, joy, or absolute certainty, you create a massive electromagnetic signature. This signature acts as an irresistible command to the quantum field. The field does not understand human language. It only understands the language of frequency and vibration. If you are trying to manifest wealth, but feeling deep anxiety and lack, the field will render more situations that cause anxiety and lack. It gives you what you are, not what you say you want. When you suddenly feel a profound sense of peace and knowing that your desire is already yours, you lock in the rendering process. This sudden shift in your magnetic field is exactly what causes the air around you to warp and shimmer. You have just forced the universe to align with your inner state. Have you ever caught movement out of the corner of your eye, only to turn your head and find absolutely nothing there? We call this peripheral vision, but in the realm of metaphysics, it is something much deeper. Your central vision is highly conditioned by your beliefs. It is trained to only see what you expect to see, strictly filtering out anything that defies logic or physics. But your peripheral vision is less guarded. It is the back door to your visual rendering system. Because it is less filtered, it is often the first place you will notice uncollapsed quantum waves. You are literally catching a glimpse of parallel timelines, energetic entities, or probabilities that have not yet fully solidified into your primary reality. When you see something in your periphery, it is the field offering you a choice. It is a whisper from the universe asking, "Do you want to bring this into focus?" Most people instantly dismiss it, thereby collapsing the wave back into nothingness. But the awakened observer knows better. When you catch a shadow or a shimmer on the edge of your sight, do not rush to dismiss it. Hold your awareness in that space without staring directly at it. Allow the possibility of the unseen to exist in your field. This expands your capacity to perceive higher dimensions. Let us explore the phenomenon of synchronicity, which is closely tied to the glitches you perceive. Carl Jung describes synchronicity as a meaningful coincidence, but it is far more than that. Synchronicity is the feedback loop of the quantum field. When you start observing your reality with intention, the universe begins to reflect your new frequency back to you through highly improbable events. You might think of an old friend, and they call you 5 seconds later. You might need a specific amount of money, and you find exactly that amount in an unexpected place. These are not accidents. These are localized glitches in the matrix of ordinary probability. They happen because your focused observation has bent the fabric of space and time to bring related frequencies together. When synchronicities begin to pile up, multiplying in your daily life, it is a clear indicator that the rendering process is accelerating. The old rules of cause and effect are breaking down, replaced by the rules of quantum resonance. The air shimmering is the visual aspect of this shift, while synchronicity is the experiential aspect. When you witness both, you must realize that you have successfully hacked the code of your physical existence. Another powerful indicator that you are actively rendering a new reality is the sensation of déjà vu. Traditional science attempts to explain déjà vu as a minor misfiring in the memory centers of the brain, but as a conscious observer, you must look deeper. Déjà vu is the visceral sensation of two timelines temporarily overlapping. When you set a powerful intention for your future, you create a vibrational anchor in the quantum field. As you move closer to manifesting that reality, your current timeline begins to merge with the timeline where your desire has already been fulfilled. When these two massive energetic waves intersect, they create a friction in your consciousness. You suddenly feel that you have lived this exact moment before, because on a quantum level, you already have. Your higher self has already navigated this path. The feeling of déjà vu is a confirmation marker. It is a signpost saying you are on the correct frequency. The next time you experience this strange, fleeting familiarity, stop whatever you are doing, take a deep breath, and consciously affirm to yourself that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. You are walking right into the reality you designed. To truly harness the observer effect, we must demystify what it actually means to observe. Observation in the quantum sense is not merely about looking with your physical eyes, it is about the absolute focus of your conscious awareness. Where you place your attention is where you place your life force energy. If you constantly observe the problems in your life, the lack of money, the difficult relationships, or the poor health, you are actively instructing the quantum field to render more of those exact experiences. You are locking those negative probabilities into solid form. The matrix thrives on your reactive observation. It feeds you fearful news and stressful situations, specifically to hijack your rendering power. The moment you understand this, you must become ruthlessly protective of your attention. You must withdraw your observation from the things you no longer wish to experience. This does not mean you deny the physical reality before you, but rather you refuse to give it your emotional power. By removing your conscious focus from a problem, you begin to dissolve its quantum structure. It slowly loses its physical density because it is no longer being fed by the creator, which is you. This brings us to the profound paradox of creation. To render a new reality, you must simultaneously desire it completely and be completely detached from it. This is the secret of absolute detachment. When you desperately need something to happen, your underlying frequency is one of lack and fear. You are observing the absence of your desire. The quantum field, being perfectly obedient, will flawlessly render that absence. To break this cycle, you must set your intention, feel the reality of it in your heart, and then completely let it go. You must trust the field to handle the logistics. When you detach, you remove all energetic resistance. You stop interfering with the wave of probability. It is often in this exact moment of surrender that the glitch occurs. You finally let go of trying to control the how and the when, and suddenly you see the shimmer in the air. The heavy, dense energy of your resistance vanishes, allowing the pure, unhindered light of your new reality to burst through the cracks of the old matrix. Detachment is not giving up. It is the highest form of quantum trust. It is the knowing that the rendering is already complete in the unseen realm. You must also understand the concept of the time delay in physical manifestation. In the pure quantum realm, manifestation is instantaneous. The moment you observe a possibility, it exists. However, we live in a dimension of heavy, dense matter. Physical reality is like a thick ocean compared to the thin air of the spiritual realm. Because of this density, there is often a lag between the moment you shift your internal frequency and the moment your external world catches up. This time delay is the greatest test for the conscious observer. Most people set an intention, wait a few days, see no physical evidence, and immediately revert to their old way of thinking. By doing this, they abort the rendering process right before it completes. When you see a glitch in the air or experience a sudden, unexplainable synchronicity, it is a message from the universe. It is telling you that the manifestation is currently in transit. The code is being rewritten, the atoms are rearranging, and the new people are being moved into position. During this time delay, your only job is to maintain the frequency of the wish fulfilled. Do not let the temporary illusion of the old reality convince you that the process has failed. Let us talk about fear, because fear is the most potent virus you can introduce into your reality rendering software. Fear is a highly intense, highly focused state of observation. When you obsess over a worst-case scenario, you are utilizing the exact same quantum mechanics required to create a miracle, but you are using them to create a nightmare. You are sending a crystal-clear, emotionally charged blueprint of disaster directly into the field. The field does not judge whether the request is good or bad for you. It simply obeys the magnetic pull of your terror. Have you ever noticed that the things you fear the most have a strange tendency to materialize in your life? This is not bad luck. This is your own unmatched power working against you. When you feel a wave of fear rising, you must recognize it as a corrupted code. Do not fight it, because fighting it only gives it more focus. Instead, consciously shift your observation. Pivot your mental gaze toward a neutral or positive outcome. By breaking the hypnotic trance of fear, you literally interrupt the rendering of the negative timeline. You pull the energy back into your own center. To master the observer effect, you must practice the art of intentional observation. This means you stop consuming reality and start directing it. Think of your awareness as a powerful flashlight in a dark room. Whatever the light touches becomes visible and real to you. The rest of the room remains in a state of unformed potential. Start your day by consciously deciding what you are going to illuminate. State your intentions clearly. Say to yourself, today, I am observing abundance, peace, and divine timing. By doing this, you are pre-programming your reticular activating system in the brain and simultaneously sending a command out into the quantum field. As you walk through your day, actively look for evidence of your intention. When you intentionally look for beauty, the field is forced to collapse waves of probability that contain beauty. You will start to notice things you previously walked right past. The colors of the trees will seem unnaturally vibrant. The conversations you overhear will contain hidden messages just for you. The air itself will feel charged and electric. This is you taking the reins of your holographic experience. You are no longer asleep at the wheel. As your practice of intentional observation deepens, you will begin to experience sudden epiphanies and quantum downloads. These are moments where a massive amount of information enters your consciousness in a single millisecond. You might be washing dishes or driving your car, and suddenly you understand a complex concept with absolute clarity, or you instantly know the solution to a problem that has plagued you for years. This is not your brain reasoning through a logical process. This is your consciousness accessing a higher dimensional database. Because you have raised your frequency and thinned the veil between the physical and the quantum, you are now capable of receiving uncompressed data directly from the source. During these downloads, the physical environment often distorts. You might hear a sudden ringing in your ears, feel a wave of heat wash over your body, or see that familiar shimmer in the space around you. The dense reality is vibrating intensely as the high-frequency information passes through it into your mind. When this happens, remain completely still. Allow the download to finish. Do not try to analyze it immediately, just receive the transmission with gratitude. You will also start to notice the profound orchestration of random encounters. As you command your new reality, the quantum field must rearrange the players on the board to fulfill your observation. You will find yourself bumping into the exact person you need to speak to, in a place where neither of you normally go, at the exact minute that makes the interaction possible. The mathematical probability of these encounters is staggering. To a sleeping mind, it is just a crazy coincidence. To the awakened observer, it is a masterpiece of quantum engineering. Every person is a localized field of consciousness. When your frequency shifts, the universe alters the trajectories of other people to intersect with yours, provided their frequency aligns with the reality you are rendering. When you experience these magical meetings, look the person in the eyes. Recognize that the universe has brought you together to exchange energy, information, or activation codes. These are not random strangers. They are cast members in the new timeline you have just successfully collapsed into physical form. As you continuously shift realities and collapse higher frequency waves, your physical body must adapt. The body is an incredibly dense biological machine, and it can struggle to keep up with rapid quantum shifts. You may experience unexplained physical symptoms during this process. You might feel sudden waves of exhaustion for no apparent reason, forcing you to sleep in the middle of the day. You might experience strange aches, dietary changes, or a feeling of floating and ungroundedness. This is often referred to as ascension symptoms. Your cellular structure is literally purging old, dense trauma codes and making space for higher vibrating light. When the glitch happens in your reality, a similar glitch is happening in your DNA. You are mutating from a carbon-based victim consciousness being into a crystalline creator consciousness being. Do not fight your body when it asks for rest. Drink plenty of water and ground yourself in nature. Understand that you are undergoing a profound biological transmutation. Your physical vessel is upgrading to hold the immense power of the reality you are now consciously rendering. One of the greatest challenges you will face is breaking free from the collective reality. You are not the only observer in this universe. There are billions of other consciousnesses constantly projecting their own beliefs, fears, and expectations into the field. This creates a massive, heavy blanket of collective agreement. This collective matrix insists that money is hard to get, that aging and disease are inevitable, and that you are powerless against the system. When you decide to render a new reality, you are pushing against this enormous wave of collective observation. This is why the journey can sometimes feel isolating. People around you may try to pull you back into their limited frequency. They will demand that you face reality. But you must remember that their reality is simply a localized hologram created by their own limited observation. You do not have to participate in their projection. You have the sovereign right to override the collective matrix within your own personal sphere of influence. When you see the shimmer in the air, let it remind you that the physical world is entirely pliable. You are the sole authority of your own quantum space. The sacred act of noticing is your most powerful tool to sustain this new awareness. The quantum field is highly responsive to gratitude and acknowledgement. When you notice a glitch, a synchronicity, or a manifestation coming into form, you must pause and actively acknowledge it. Say out loud, "I see this. I created this. Thank you." By doing this, you are creating a positive feedback loop with the universe. You are telling the field, "Yes, this is the frequency I want. Give me more of this." Most people receive a small miracle and immediately dismiss it, moving on to the next problem. They starve the field of the vital attention it needs to build momentum. When you become a master of noticing, you feed the quantum field with joyful observation. The field responds by flooding your reality with even more magical occurrences. Your life becomes an escalating spiral of miracles. The glitches become more frequent, not because the matrix is broken, but because the veil between you and the pure energy of creation has become delightfully thin. You are walking in two worlds simultaneously. Anchoring the new reality requires incredible discipline. It is one thing to have a fleeting moment of quantum clarity, but it is another entirely to sustain that frequency day after day. When the old reality tries to reassert itself, when the bills arrive, or when people trigger your past traumas, your default programming will try to force you back into the old state of observation. This is the critical moment. This is where you must stand firm as the conscious architect. You must look at the dense, challenging physical circumstance and say, "I know this is just the delayed echo of my past thoughts. It has no power over my future. I choose to keep my observation locked on my ultimate vision." You must refuse to react to the illusion. By denying the negative circumstance, your emotional reaction, you starve it of energy. It has no choice but to collapse back into the unformed wave of probability. You replace it with the new frequency. This takes practice. It takes a relentless commitment to your own mind. But the reward is absolute freedom. You become untouchable by the chaos of the external world. As we reach the depths of this understanding, we must confront the ultimate truth. You are not a human being trying to learn how to manipulate the quantum field. That is an illusion of separation. You are the quantum field itself, localized in a physical body, experiencing a singular point of view. You are the universe observing itself. The observer and the observed are exactly the same thing. When you look out into the world and see the air shimmer, you are looking at your own reflection. The reality you are rendering is just an externalized mirror of your internal state of consciousness. There is nothing outside of you. Every person, every event, every delay, and every miracle is a projection from the profound depths of your own soul. When you fully integrate this realization, all fear vanishes. How can you fear the reality that is made entirely of your own essence? How can you doubt your ability to manifest when you are the very fabric of existence? You step into a state of supreme sovereignty. You walk through life with the quiet, unshakable confidence of a true creator. Remember this the next time you find yourself staring into space and the world begins to warp. Do not blink it away. Do not let logic steal the magic of the moment. Breathe into it. Expand your awareness and command the field. You have been given the keys to the kingdom, and the time for playing small in a dense, fearful reality is completely over. Your consciousness is expanding rapidly, and the matrix is bending to accommodate your new size. The glitches, the synchronicities, the instantaneous manifestations, these are the new normal for you. You have broken the code. You have remembered who and what you truly are. Now, it is time to build the life you were destined to live. Render it with beauty, render it with love, and render it with the absolute power of the conscious observer. The entire universe is waiting for your next command. The greatest secret of the universe is no longer hidden from you. You are not merely living in reality. You are reality itself, observing your own infinite potential and collapsing it into form. Everything you see, touch, and experience is a direct reflection of your conscious and unconscious observation. By taking control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your deep inner focus, you become the absolute master of the quantum field. If this transmission has sparked an awakening within your soul, I ask you to subscribe to this channel and leave a like to help push this frequency into the collective matrix. To anchor your new reality right now, go to the comments and type the activation phrase, "I am the observer, creating my reality." Let this act be your formal declaration to the universe. Tell me, what signs, glitches, or magical synchronicities have you been noticing in your life recently? Share your experiences below, as your story might be the exact catalyst someone else needs to awaken.